Alright, here we are back at it. This is going to be another user submitted replay. And this replay is going to be starring Pophyriel here in the Blue Celestial. And his opponent and the submitter of this replay is Dutchy in the Red Infernal. And again, this is going to be just a ladder game that was played out recently, patch 0.1.3. And whenever Dutchy gets a game that he thinks is a pretty good one, he sends it my way. So that's where we got this replay today. His Hexen making it here in time to see the surged arc ship flying over the high ground here. And we see where it is headed is into the Secluded Grove here on Secluded Grove. The Prism is already here mining some therium. And we see that Dutchy has walked into the main, seeing that there's only a collection array there. Sent a skull to scout this other potential location, not finding an array there. And then the skull is going to come and scout out at the center of the map here. Sees the morph core, impacts the morph core. That's not going to do much, as that morph core is likely just going to turn into a collection array any second now. But at least for the moment, these arrays in the middle of the map are fairly safe. Now, of course, at any point, yeah, here we see some lumber imps, as I like to call them, some imps that are just coming this way to take down the trees, I imagine. But it looks like Dutchy's also creeping out here with the help of some fell hogs. But now he's taken a chance to micro these imps, and sure enough, they take out these trees. Opening a nice space here for a possible attack. Of course, at this point, there's not much that Pophyriel can do. We get a Shroud Stone from one of these imps, and let's see what else is going to come down. Very recently, this meta's changed a bit to go for farms, but we have 2 Shroud Stones here. I say recently the meta's changed, but this game is actually an older replay. I'm casting all of my replays here on Patchmas Eve. So we do have a patch in the morning. Now that Shroud Stone is going to go down. Does it get cancelled? It does get cancelled at the last minute. And we get another Shroud Stone put down. And again, the Sovereign's Watch can hit buildings now, and is the intended defense here for these rushes. But again, another cancel, and the imp gets a little bit of the damage there, and the Sovereign's Watch. It looks like Sovereign's Watch has been refreshed at least twice. This Shroud Stone does get up, and it's very low on health, but it is at this point firing. It takes out the Prism, and now it's Gaunts on top of this Argent. The Argent's probably going to go down as well. We saw the Gaunts are trying to stay on the Shroud here, but do they have Plague Axes yet? No, they do not. This Argent is trying to take out this really low Shroud Stone, but it doesn't get the last hit. Unfortunately, it's still at 40 hit points. And now it finally gets taken out. And this Shroud Stone also very low, but managing to get still some pretty good damage out. And it looks like the Creation Chambers might go down. We see link nodes in the back there. I think only one is a strike node. That's this one here. And it's now focusing the Hexen. She's a little bit more tanky than the Gaunts, but she still does have to retreat back to get onto the Shroud to regenerate some white health. But actually she's back here adding a little DPS to try and take that strike node out. But now a second strike node finishes, and Dutchy decides to retreat just a little bit. And Argent gets out, trying to pick off some of the low Gaunts, and one of the Gaunts does go down to the strike node. And the strike nodes appear to be surged. That does increase their attack speed, and now another Sovereign's Watch is called, and that Sovereign's Watch is going to probably take out this Shroud Stone. I'm not sure if it needs a full DPS from the Sovereign's Watch. It looks like indeed it is going to go down, and that's going to at least clean up that early pressure. Now, we didn't see Dutchy send any units up here to take out that base, which he certainly could have while he was harassing here. We didn't see a lot of brutes out there, and what that might have been one reason. If he had some brutes, he might have been able to get some fiends and send the fiends off there. But let's see what he's going to do with this army. He's pushing out. He is now splitting some fiends. And he might indeed be sending those off. Maybe harass in the main, or maybe check for some other arrays. But for the moment, he is going to also creep out the vision tower. And indeed, we see these fiends are rushing back. And I thought it might have been one to each, but no. I think one just took a second to check for an array there and did not find it. And the DPS of 2 fiends is actually pretty good. We're already down to 650. What are we going to see? A link node being summoned in. Now, I don't know if that link node's going to be able to change over fast enough. The collection rate is almost at half. And that's indeed the benefit of the fiends is, of course, their fast attack speed. And they just got a damage buff and a DPS buff in the last patch. Patch coming down tomorrow. It's not going to have a lot of 1v1 changes. And this array is going to go down. Vectors show up. Oh my goodness. Literally a half of a second late. If they had just showed up a little bit quicker, they would have saved that array. And okay, so the link node does allow a new array to be summoned. Another link node is going to be summoned as well. And the vectors are moving back out. There are some Argents along here. And for the moment, this center base is staying up. We have just a Starforge, a couple creation chambers, all those strike nodes that were there from earlier, all surged. Pophyriel might be able to get some power back by unsurging some of those buildings. For instance, his Arc Station is surged, and there's no reason for that to be surged at the moment. Third base going down for Dutchy. And he is long distance mining from this Therium patch. And sent a skull to go scout here to see if there's an array here. Now, Pophyriel was able to replace this array, so he's back up on 3. But his army is now moving out. What's he going to do with this? Unfortunately, one of these Argents took the long way around. It's dangerous. He could be caught out of position. Of course, Dutchy is back at home, so he's not on the map. And it looks like they're going to take this base here. I didn't quite see them take it out, but looks like it was semi-recently. Another scout going to scout out here, trying to look for an array, not finding one. And now this energy camp's going to be taken. We see sabers also joining the army here, or at least being produced, and a scanner out as well. Scanner's probably going to use the evolution catalyst to get rid of these creeps for free. Probably just waiting for power on that since we are at minus 10 power. And we do see a lot of power banks going down here at the main. But it's also at this point that Dutchy's showing up with 3 Hellborn. There's a single Saber there and gets a couple Fiends. And another Fiend, looks like. And now so many straight nodes, but that array goes down. And the Hellborn really don't need to push that far in and have to risk that Saber. They could kind of just from the edge there attack the strike nodes. Indeed, with vision, they might be able to attack from behind the trees. And again, it looks like they are going to step forward, and there goes one strike node with just a triple volley. Now, it was low. That's 2 there, and not enough to kill that one, but with the second volley. And again, they are... okay, so the hit for the power bank, and now that Saber is going to engage them. Another Saber coming in the back. Now, those 2 Sabers focusing one Hellborn. Hellborn's a tanky boy. Or girl, I guess. I'm not sure. I think Hellborns might be women, too. And here come the Vectors. They get on top of the Gaunts, and a couple Gaunts melted, but the Hellborn in the back are just putting down so much damage, and of course it's splash damage. And this army has to retreat, and unfortunately it's not retreating back into the defensive structures that it has inside the secluded grove. There are more sabers being added in there, making it hard to push in. But I think it's just a matter of time here before Dutchy finishes this off. What do we have here? Another imp heading out to take a fourth base now, using this vertical expansion pattern. With his opponent in the middle of the map, it's kind of hard to know which direction is the best. But another power bank going down. And those sabers, we're up to 6 sabers. That is a pretty good saber count, but we have also 5 Hellborn, so we could be getting into a battle of siege units versus siege units. What is Pophyriel going to do here? We see he's poked out the back. He's opened up some trees at the back, allowing him quicker access for his units to get in and out. That way, if he needs to get back and defend. Now, we do see an Ascension Matrix here. And what is this? This is the Tensor Pulse for the sides. So we probably can get some sides, but we also have double Legion Hall. So we're looking to get something out of the Legion Hall now, too. We have Weavers being added. Now, maybe one reason why Dutchy has that back a little bit here is you get these Weavers up so that they can try to get some counterplay on those sabers. Those sabers are dangerous and they can fight back, and a couple good shots they might be able to take out some of these Hellborn, and the Hellborn are the backbone to break that center. So we'll see if he tries to push forward with these Weavers now. Now, we do know that these sabers are actually out of position. If Dutchy pushes in right now, he's going to have a free base to attack. There's not much in there. And, you know, it might also be worthwhile for Dutchy to grab a Magmadon and just clear out some more of these trees. He could set up a real good front here. He could put some Shroud Stones, some farms here, and probably finish this. But for the moment, he's just made a defensive front here. Let's see what else he's got going on for him. He's gone up to triple Twilight Spire. We also see double Hellforge. The Shadow Cleft is already done, so are there Spriggans on the map? There are the Spriggans. Okay, here's a Spriggan Ball with some Shadow Flyers. I didn't quite see. Were they out here and clearing out this one? I think they may have. Actually, that one's been cleared out for a while. So he's just going to push in with all these units. And again, Pophyriel's army is out of position. So these Spriggans go in there, fly very quickly on top of these strike nodes, and they take them out with the help of the Hellborns. And now they're going to focus down production. A couple of Sarvant's Watches get casts on buildings, but these units are very slowly trying to make their way back into a defensive position. And it looks like the Spriggans are trying to figure out where are those units. Can I find them? They're trying to stay away from the Sarvant's Watch, but for the moment the Spriggans are basically tanking the Sarvant's Watch. And the Hellborn are going to have to retreat back. There are Weavers now. The Weavers turn. They lash onto a single Argent. Of course, we want the Weavers to get on top of these Sabers. The Weavers and Brutes and Gaunts now moving in to form a front line for Dutchy. We are seeing some lashes going down on the Sabers, and very quickly those Sabers are being dealt with. It looks like the front line has been melted other than these Sabers, than these Weavers. There is a single Hexen still there. The Hellborn in the back, of course, are the ones that you want to keep alive. They're the ones doing the damage. There are still 4 Hellborn alive. It looks like one of them might have got taken out. And now, the Hexen is very low. She gets taken out. A Weaver goes down. And there's just a single Weaver in retreat with these Hellborn as more Brutes show up to maybe fill out that front line again. Nice Venom Trap here in case he gets followed in his retreat. And I think that was a pretty good push forward. Taking out a lot of the Static D, melting a lot of the units in there, taking care of all the Sabers. And it's probably not that bad that Dutchy had to retreat back out and regroup. He can just push back in. Remember, his base is now up and running. And for Pophyriel, do we see another base up? We don't see this one or this one taken yet. This has not been taken, but it does look like we do have an array here. So we are up to 4 arrays for Pophyriel. A dragon on the map now in escort with these Spriggans. They're moving over here. The Shadow Flyers provide vision, so taking out that scanner. But I think this force is looking for arrays, not finding an array here. Probably going to rotate up to the natural. And we do see that that's what's anticipated by Pophyriel as he tries to go and defend. But in fact, Dutchy spins around and finds these units kind of out of position. Although his attack force is just meant more for harass, not meant for toe-to-toe here. And he does have to retreat. Now, this supply is telling a little bit of the tale. Dutchy is up by 100. That's over double. And where is his army right now? I don't see his units. His Spriggans, his air force is here. He must have his units somewhere. Can't find them. There are a few units. There's some Hellborn. Is that Hellborn stuck? I sure hope she's not. That would be terrible. Here they are. Oh, they must have been clearing this camp, and it looks like they indeed were. Here they are. And it looks like they're going to go and try and take this camp. The Brute coming in to just be the tank here, so that the Sprigs, some of the weaker units don't have to take that DPS. And again, with a huge supply lead, Dutchy is likely going to have finished this off. He just needs to find an opportunity to poke in and really do that damage he wants to do. Again, this Air Force, tantalizingly close to getting to this base and taking it out. Instead, getting in back here and getting on top of some power banks. A few Argents out of position. They're going to turn and fight, but they're going to be taken out. And now it's just going to be easy picking power banks. A couple more going down. So we're now into red power for real. And his army, again, unfortunately, just being out of position. Part of the drawback of it being so slow. We see a Surge Guardian Nexus, which of course protects a lot of the buildings around. It's worth sniping if he could. But looking for another base. I think Dutchy really thinking he's not quite as ahead as he is. Of course, we can see that there's a huge supply lead, but he doesn't know that. And without having an opportunity to scout a lot of these bases, he doesn't know if Morph Cores have been out there taking down, putting down some collection arrays. Now again, catching some of this slow army out of position, getting on top of that Animancer, trying to get it. There's a Flag Breath going down on all these units, but a Purify cleans it off of all of them. And the Dragon and the Spriggans trying to get something done, but I just don't think, again, that they really want to go toe-to-toe. Other than these Sabres, these other units do all right against that army. It's little exchanges like that where if Pophyriel can maybe snipe the dragon or take out this Spriggan ball, might be able to get back in this a little bit. But it does look like Dutchy is bringing his whole force to bear here. Now it's interesting that he's not pushing into the center where we know a lot of the tech is. Instead he's going to knock down these trees, which give him a route through the middle here. And now he's going to push up on these units. And certainly with all of these units, he should be able to clean up this army. The Purify not really helping. I mean, doing enough to clean up the infest. But yeah, there goes the whole army. And now it's just got to be a matter of time. We see the Air Force moving north to try and take out this base. And the ground army, I imagine, is going to push into the center, although at the moment it doesn't look like it's moved there. Instead, we're just getting more harassed. We have a few Animancers popping out. And this array is going to go down. So it looks like Dutchy's respecting this center position really well, because he's now almost maxed out against 60 supply. He needs to just move in, but instead he's letting a strike force come out that are going to try and get into his economy. It's not going to mean much, of course. Instead we get flame imps. I mean, okay, but it looks like Dutchy is going to No, he's coming to defend against these four. There's only like 3 or 4 Argents here. The Fellhogs are doing a pretty good job just themselves. But it looks like, okay, the Air Force plus the Hellborn are going to attack into the center, while the rest of the units are going to try and go clean up those Argent. So the Hellborn don't really want to get taken out here, and a good job of microing them back just at the last minute before he lost one. But I think this is the tail of the tape. He just needs to push in, and hopefully this will be an A move. Now, here's the problem. Those Hellborn there are blocking all the units. You gotta micro your units. Yeah, of course he's microing his Air Force, but when you're in a choke like that, you gotta make sure those Hellborn don't just sit there and block all the rest of your units. So indeed he does micro them back, allowing his main force to get in. And here's that A move I was talking about. He needs to just watch his units deal with this force now. And that looks like that's going to be GG out of Pophyriel.